everyone was angry with me, used to keep calling me RJ. I had women who used to get drunk and used to come and say, beer pilayega. And I was going like, what? After the screening, I hated the film. And I was so embarrassed at having done it. I said, why have I done this?
And we are back. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Abhilasha, and you are listening to a brand new episode of Making Sense With. Today, amongst us, we have a personality who is known to interrupt your Spotify playlist at least 4 times a day if you haven't subscribed to your premium account yet. An actor, RJ, VJ, and your very own host of the WWE Sunday Dhamal. I present to you Mr. Salil Acharya. Hi, Salil.
Hi, Abhilasha. Thanks for having me. Hi.
It's an honor that you agreed to join us for our podcast. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's taken a few phone calls and a few WhatsApp messages, and it's all done now.
So, how is quarantine, Salil? How are you keeping up with this pandemic?
Some of us who've actually had access to a little bit of audio work. So in our case, whether it's my podcast or whether it's radio, we've actually thankfully been a little more busier than the others. I miss shooting. I miss being on a set, but I can't say I'm as bad as a lot of my friends have been. Because they just pretty much stuck at home. And for me, work from home also was actually a lot of interesting, fun stuff, editing and auditing and doing a lot of audio work. So I'm actually happy, to have had that. Thankfully, the audio world in my life in the last 4 or 5 months. Otherwise, the quarantine would have been very, very difficult.
I mean, at least you're being productive. There are half of the people who are actually sitting at home doing nothing. So,
No, it's not actually about a productivity thing. That's what I keep telling everyone. It's not a productivity contest, but it's just at least keeping you busy so that you can do something. I know a lot of people are going through some major mental fatigue. It's not just about. It's just you just don't know when it's going to end, and that's the biggest problem. I mean, I've got 2 kids, I've got my in-laws living with me, we've got a large house, but you still get bored of each other after a point of time, man. So work has actually kept me, sane.
I mean, people are under this peer pressure that, कि आपको काम करना ही है. You have to be productive because the people around you are doing something or the else. So,
Yeah, so also another problem is because a lot of work is disappearing and, a lot of companies are shutting down and all that. So everyone's trying to create some work, to try and hope that, this can lead to some money or some future which is alternate. Because a lot of us have actually had to think about alternate careers and, it's kind of tough to sort of do that after 20 years of working in one field.
so Salil, you have been in this broadcasting industry for the past 18 years.
That's right.
And 18 years is a great deal of time.
Yeah.
So, it is not hidden that this industry mostly dominated by the Kapoors and Khans. So, how difficult was it for you to start a career on your own? How has your journey been?
So the crazy part is I actually made my debut before Ranbir. So I was actually there before the Kapoors. 2007 is when I made my debut with Avara.
With Avarapan.
Yeah, and so at that time actually the debate that is raging today has always been there. So it was not about nepotism. It was just about the fact that I've understood. I've co-produced a movie as well. Where we were part of the production side of it. Also, while I was acting in 3AM, another film that I did. It's very, very difficult to get a film released. A lot of people make films. Very difficult to get a film released, and therein it has nothing to do with the actors and the filmmakers. It has everything to do with the audience. So I remember my last film that came out, 3AM, which had Ranvijay and me in it. It was a horror film, okay? And we had Haider also come out and Bang Bang come out at the same time. It was about 6 years back. We ran to packed houses for 3 months. 3 months. And it was a really small film in the night. It was a horror film. But obviously on the first Friday, we got a 9 a.m. show. And, that's obviously was useless. It's only when the youngsters started to watch it and they sort of liked it a little bit, we managed to get a little bit of traction. But on the same hand, even Shahid Kapoor had to fight. He was an established star, but he had to fight to get screens as well, because Hrithik Roshan was a bigger star. Now, how are these guys stars? Because the public made them stars, So, in 2007, when I remember getting my debut, there were only 2 production houses that were ready to work with newcomers. And there weren't so many production houses. You have to understand, even Shah Rukh and all these people were just doing 1-2 films a year. Nobody was doing like 10,000 films. People forget that Saif Ali Khan himself started his own production house so that he could himself work. Cocktail, which changed Deepika Padukone's life, was Saif Ali Khan, So my whole thing is that Ram Gopal Verma and Mahesh Bhatt were the only 2 people that actually auditioned people. So it's very unfair because I've seen both sides of it, to compare today's day with then, and the debate that is raging today is nepotism. Every single household has nepotism, man. I mean, you got like people who come to your house, the working boys also, they put their daughters on the job, their husbands become the
Yeah.
drivers. So this is absolute rubbish, and it's there in every industry. You've got to, if you're good enough, and if the public likes you. That I remember some of my producers in television told me that Salil, you're a very good actor, but the public doesn't love you. They respect you. There's a huge difference. So people like a Salman Khan and Shah Rukh Khan are loved by the public. So that love transcends all barriers. Yeah. So it's very difficult to say, is it an unfair debate right now? It'll always feel unfair to the people who are struggling on the outside and who suddenly decided to make this a career in the last 3-4 years. Well, we've been struggling and figuring out things and managing to succeed very well for the last 18 years. Yeah. So I don't quite agree with this. We put our head down, we worked, and it's just that we didn't go crying on, if we missed an audition. I mean, you don't get through an audition, you don't get through an audition. Now, there's no nepotism in the ad world. So when you go for advertising auditions, you ask every one of these actors who's now saying that there's huge nepotism, ask them how many rejections they faced in the ad world. People have spent three years doing 10 auditions a day, and I'm saying thousands of auditions before they sometimes get through. There is absolutely no known person that does mostly ads, right? So how come there's no
Right.
nepotism in ads? So it doesn't, this is all by people who've not spent enough time and then are just looking to, get some quick 10 minutes of fame by somebody else. And obviously when some of the big wigs start fighting with each other, namely say if a Kangana is now really made this debate about herself,
Yes, yes,
it will always, now there's Anurag Kashyap and Ranveer Shore fighting, there's Anubhav Sinha fighting. I mean, it's become like a fish market, yeah.
Yeah, it's actually, nepotism has been in talks for so many days, like for the past month, especially of the tragic incident of Sushant Singh Rajput. So it's been into discussion for a long time now.
No, it was always there, except that, one thing is there, nobody ever called out people like they are calling out people now. Chetan Bhagat has just called out Vidhu Vinod Chopra. And nobody ever, so in that way, I actually give full marks to Karan Johar for never having deleted that comment of Kangana Ranaut, on the show, which started all this, many years ago.
Yes.
If she had never said that, and I mean, they were editing the show, it wasn't a live show, they could have cut that part out. But, that's the whole point. And people haven't understood this. And I've been, because I'm in the broadcasting world of so many mediums, the AIB roast that happened, that
Yes.
changed everything in India. And that was one of the biggest issues. I spoke about that with Rajiv Masand on my podcast.
Yes, yes,
He said, we were so stupidly naive to think that all the 5,000, 10,000 people that were in the auditorium that day were the only ones. And he said everybody, Salil, laughed like mad in that show. He said, but we were so naive to think that this was never going to go outside of that room. And it did on YouTube. And thereafter, I think everything just became about, if you don't agree with what we have to say, then you're against the country, you're against me, you're against what is right. I mean, it's become rubbish. So, I actually have no tolerance for these kind of people who think that what they say is always right. And, I fully support everybody who has their own mind, their own viewpoint. And even whether it's silly journalists, trying to take advantage of this poor fellow who's no longer with us, Sushant Singh Rajput. And, today we see that, we've got some psychologists saying that he's bipolar. I mean, can you imagine the stuff that his family is having to face? They don't want anything to happen, but you reached a situation where you're calling critics to the police station and all. I mean, people have gone mad, yeah.
I mean, there is madness everywhere. You can't help it. But the thing is, the way the people are, portraying, of all the recent events that have been going on in the country, it's actually very disturbing, for a student community, because students can be very passionate sometimes. And
It's something very strange. Because I've started a few digital campaigns, so some of these companies, they come and give you some stats about your digital campaigns. And I have I don't have a very large following, but about 120, 130,000 followers on Instagram, okay? Which comparison to, a lot of other celebrities, I mean, I've always been told I should have followers in the millions, but apparently people don't like me that much. But what is very clear is 69% of my followers, and this is the most shocking part, I'm 40 years old, okay? Most of the work that I've done is when most of the student community was not even born. 20 years ago or 18 years ago, most of them weren't, right? My followers are from 0 to 24, 69% of them. Can you imagine? 18%
Wow.
is under 18 years old. And I'm going, how are they connecting to what I'm saying? So I used to have a lot of fun on my TikTok, making dances and all that. So I guess
Yeah.
people used to join in. But I've just realized, so can you imagine, this is up to the age of 24 is almost 70% of all of the people that you see on social media. 70% is up to 24, 25. At the age of 24, 25, 99% of them have just started their work careers, or have just started going out into the professional world and various things. All of them are so opinionated, and that's fine. But also, all of them have too much of an aggressive stance to everything. They don't wait to do the research, they don't wait to find out the facts. They just want to be the first person out there breaking it on social media. And this has become the biggest issue because it's like giving a social media gun in someone's hand. I mean, I've got 20% of my followers almost that are under 18. A 15-year-old kid cannot have a kind of perspective that somebody who's even 25 has, let alone somebody who's 35 and 45. They say experience comes with time. Well, I don't understand if social media is being dictated by 25-year-olds, who are, and they're very welcome. I'm very welcome to their views, but they should take the time to understand what's going on. You can say you don't want, see, even where films are concerned, people say Sushant Singh Rajput was a victim of, people not giving him a chance. Well, then I can say that he was a victim of these so-called big armies of fans not watching his films enough. Don't take one Chichore. So many of his films flopped so badly. And it's so many didn't go to see his film. If you really loved him so much that time, why didn't you go see his films? Why do you go on the first day of any one of these big Khans and one of these big stars and give 50 crores on an opening day? So I don't agree with anything that is being said these days on social media because it's all rubbish. It's just people trying to get involved on the hashtag, so that you get seen and so you get a few followers and you get a few comments. So it's become a very, very, very difficult world where it's resulted in people like Ananya Pandey and all. I mean, have you seen that poor girl? What has she done? Okay, you don't like her acting or whatever, that's fine. But if you ever went on a social timeline, you'd just be shocked at the kind of hate that is going towards her, man. Look, she was in Pati Patni Aur Wo. That made 100 crores almost. That means each one of these kids that is abusing her went to see the film. So you shouldn't have gone to see the film, right? So my question is, Sonakshi Sinha had to leave Twitter, yeah? That's how much hate she received. For what? Because she's Shatrughan Sinha's daughter. So that way, imagine what Abhishek Bachchan has gone through for the last 20 years. You know what Rohan Gavaskar, who's Sunil Gavaskar's son, has gone through. People have a very short memory because, again, like I said, they're only 18, 19 years old. They've been born after 2000. What do they know what happened before that?
So, Salil, you came to the silver screen with Ye Meri Life Hai. And you had your debut in Bollywood with Awarapan.
Yeah.
So, how has this difference settled with you, acting for the soap operas and then, being a part of Bollywood?
I really didn't. So I was an economics honors student. I was going to go to London School of Economics. So I was actually a very, very good student in Delhi University. And I didn't really care about this other world that existed. And the strange part is when I started radio in 2002, I was the first radio jockey in Bombay to start a Hindi show in the evening. And it was so funny because I'd never seen Hindi television or seen much Hindi cinema at that time. I mean, I grew up in a very westernized, setup where I grew up watching Riviera, Santa Barbara, and Bold and Beautiful. Most of the listeners might not know this, but they were the most popular shows for the longest time.
Yeah.
So I was that world, and suddenly when I came into this world in Bombay, everything changed. And I honestly didn't really watch any television shows. Somebody offered me a television show after I won a modeling contest. I said, cool. My first question was not about what the role was. I said, how much are you going to pay me? And then they gave this crazy amount, 6,000 rupees a day. I said, are you serious? This was in 2003. It was a huge amount of money. And people I knew didn't make that kind of money in a month. And I was making that a day. And I said, wow. I said, fine. Suddenly I became a VJ on B4U. And everywhere that I was doing 6 shows on TV at that time. I was on 7 different television channels.
Wow.
And my parents, and this was 2004 and 5, and I was a 24-year-old kid at that time, and I was wondering, my God, is this how it's supposed to be? So it was a very different experience for me. So when people say, did you go back? Look, I had nobody to actually look for. I was one of the first television actors to get a very big role in a mainstream Bollywood film. Nobody before me had got any of that. So I remember when I was offered Avarapan also by Bhatt Saab and Mohit Suri, it's because they had seen me doing an interview on TV. I was doing Kittu Sab Janti Hai serial, which was a very popular serial at that
Oh,
time on
yes, yes,
Sahara.
yes. Yes.
And when I was offered that film, there was no money offered in it, and I didn't expect a big role. But when I got the script, I remember flying to Hong Kong, finishing 18 hours of a schedule, coming back and shooting for my serial again. And I got a bound script, and those were the days when people didn't talk much about bound scripts and all that. And I remember saying, "Wow, this is a really good opportunity." And we did that film. The film, was a very big touted film. The songs did very well. I hired a PR agency for the first time, and there was fabulous news about me everywhere. And then the film tanked. And now when people say nepotism, I want to say I was nominated at award functions. Everybody knew about me at that time. Every critic wrote about me, whether good or bad or whatever. I remember waking up in the morning on a Saturday morning. Taran Adarsh had written to me saying, "You're the new star of Bhatt Saab's camp. Congratulations and welcome to the club." And I felt so cool. And you know how many offers I got after that film? None. None. Absolutely none. And I'm going like, what did I do wrong? Everyone's talking about me. I don't know who to meet because nobody in my world was doing films. Films was a world of Shah Rukh Khans and all. Like, we were not the kind of people that did films. And I just didn't understand what I was supposed to do. So it's not like today where you have a Mukesh Chhabra and casting agents, people just did it. It was so simple. It's so simple now. Then it was so difficult. If you didn't get a call, you couldn't do anything. And this is after me getting published in the page 3 of your Bombay Times and all that. I thought people would be calling every day.
Wow.
Nobody called. And then I remember Ekta Kapoor came back to me and said, "See, this is great. You become a star now. Can we get you back in Kyunki Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahu?" And a lot of people said, "That's career suicide." I said, "Suicide from what? I don't have a film offer in hand. I've got a couple of offers that is coming that is like very sleazy cinema, which that time also was doing very well." I said, "I don't want to do that kind of stuff." So I went back to the biggest television show that was on TV, and again, it was money that helped me make all these decisions because I was very financially self-sufficient. But it's not like I had too many choices, and because I continued to do them, things happened. So it's very difficult to look back and say, should I have done things differently or how was it? But today it's a joke and it's such a cakewalk for so many of them. Everybody gets a chance now. What do you do with your chance and what the public does with that after that? That's a different case. But in our time, you didn't get a chance. Nobody moved to Bombay. Nobody lived in houses alone. I promise you. 2006-7, people were 4 to a house, 5 to a house in like the Lokhandwalas that is so infamous today. And I bought a house in 2004. So I'm going, look, I think I'm doing everything right here. Why is still nobody noticing me? So they did. It's just not the way that I thought it would be. So the question is that people's expectations have to change. And I remember Ranbir Kapoor, when I met him the first time, he said, "Brother, I saw you for the first time." Because I remember meeting him. He said, "Of course I know you." I said, "How is that?" He says, "Because I saw your film in a theatre in 2007. So this is Ranbir telling me when he was an assistant on Black or Savaria, one of the two, going to a theatre and watching a film of mine. Priyanka Chopra introduced me to Twitter. So these were friends of mine at that time. Can you imagine? And today, you can't say, like, I love Priyanka Chopra, man. She's like a superstar. She did everything on her own. She didn't give a shit. And that's the way it should be. You don't sit and cry over what you're not getting. You just make do with what you have, make it better, and you go and make a name for yourself, man. So that's the most important advice that you have to give to all your people that are listening to this podcast, that you can't just sit and wait for somebody to come knocking at your door. And the 1 or 2 people that started knocking at your door, now you have a problem with them doing it. So now that there's these fights that are happening in Bollywood and everywhere, I don't see a lot of chances being given to a lot of people very soon. They're going to say, "You fought with us, right? So go make your film and release it now." Now you watch what's going to happen. I could have gone. I could have gone because I had the percentages for it. But it was obviously expensive and you got to go through the entire exam. But because my percentages in college was so high and I did Eco Honors, so I was eligible to go there.
So, ऐसा कभी हुआ है आपके साथ that you have regretted the decision of not going there and that
No, never. So a lot of the times, and it sounds a little strange, I'm actually, how do I say this? A lot of my friends have told me that I'm the most famous person that nobody knows. So yeah, because they say, how come you've done all this and nobody knows that you've done all this? I said, because I just don't give a, I don't care whether people know. I've always, touched wood, even in the pandemic, I'm signing new shows and doing all this, So for the last 18 years, by God's grace, I have never had a day when I've had only one job. I mean, I've been an RJ for 18 years. I've been a VJ for 18 years. I've done films in between that. I never left anything. So I realized something that if I was there in, say, London School of Economics, maybe I could have become successful. Maybe I'd have got a good job. But I don't think I would have been happy. Now I do what I want. Now I've got a couple of businesses that I've started as well that are not just necessarily from this line. We've got a production house that is there. I don't think I would have been able to do all this. I think eco and my studies, padhai made me very sharp. Okay? So I've become sharp. So because of that, you end up learning how to figure things out. So we figured things out. And I think I'm pretty happy today. Absolutely no regret. My only regret
That's
is that
amazing.
I didn't have digital OTT platforms, say, about 10 years back. Because I think I would have really, really enjoyed that. Because today I've got 2 kids and there's this huge amount of work that is already running behind me. I've got the company running and all that. For me to leave everything and now do OTT is very difficult. But 10 years back, I could have done that.
So, 2013, a major hit happened, Ashiki 2.
Yeah.
It hit the box office like crazy.
Yeah.
And your famous scene of throwing the can at Aditya Roy Kapoor.
Oh, God, yeah.
So, I've heard I've heard in a few interviews that we used to walk on the streets and people used to like call you by your name instead of calling you by
They
your
used to
name.
throw stuff
they
at
used
me,
to call-
man. It was so that scene was never going to happen. People don't know this, but I remember walking out of because it was Mohit and somebody else was supposed to do that role, and it got they reached some issues. I remember Mohit calling me at about 2:00 in the afternoon, saying, "Brother, can you please help me out? I'm in a big soup. Can you just come and meet me at Film City? I just need you to do one role for me for a day." I said, "Mohit, I haven't been on screen for 5 years. I'm not interested in doing something like this. And that also, with brand newcomers and all." But he said, "Please, brother, please help me out." I said, "Okay, fine." So I went on the set. I had no clue what to do because there was really nothing to be done. So there was no real script or anything, It was just that they needed somebody and he knew me and we're friends, So I said, fine. And what happened was actually that Sun Raha Hai became a big blockbuster song. And I was there in the song in the beginning, and MTV was a lot of channels didn't play the whole song. MTV was very sweet enough to play that song, which is an entire 5-minute song, and that had me a lot in it. So what happened suddenly was everyone started to recognize it, okay? After the screening, I hated the film. And I was so embarrassed at having done it. I said, why have I done this? And I just wanted to get out of the screening, which had all these big stars and everybody in it. I said, what have I done? Because I had chosen not to do a lot of films in between, which were not like so big. And I said, this is what I've done after 6 years. And I came running out, and Shraddha and Aditya came running after me, saying, what happened? You hated it? And I said, no. I said, I'm just so embarrassed. I said, why have I done this? Because I really never thought that it would become so big. And I said, now the whole world is going to say, oh, now this is what he does after 5 years. So I was very worried what the audience would react. But I don't know what happened. Suddenly, a month or 2 later, I went to Goa and everyone was angry with me, used to keep calling me RJ. I had women who used to get drunk and used to come and say, beer pilayega. And I was going like, what?
Oh God.
So it was crazy. But the strange part is, that's what I said, you do a film where I'm almost the main lead of a film, Avarapan, and you don't get a single call. And after Ashiki 2, it was crazy. Everything changed for me. I mean, the events, whatever, various things. Industry-wise, no. It's not like I got a lot of film calls. But event-wise and all that, oh my God. I was cutting ribbons and this, that. I was shocked. Yeah, it was hilarious. And I used to feel embarrassed because I say, it's like 5 minutes. They said 5 minutes is all it takes to change someone's life. And I was like, okay. But I'm embarrassed about that. That's why I chose 3 a.m. a few years after that. That didn't do well. But I tried very hard to do. So, you keep trying to, it's not about trying to prove to the world. You want to prove to yourself also. So, Ashiki 2 was like, it's not a film I wanted to write down about anyway, because it was just, and that's why if you notice the credits also, I made sure they wrote a very special guest appearance. Because I was
in starting.
yeah, I was
in the beginning.
because I said, because Mohit said, whatever you want. And I was so worried. And what he said is, but if you write very special guest appearance, nobody will consider you for an award. I said, award? I said, are you mad? It's a 5-minute role. I don't want my name to come. So if you write guest appearance, you're not considered in the award functions. But apparently, I was very happy with that. So, but nobody noticed that it was a guest appearance. And now I guess people still remember it, which is there.
So Zalil, you went from acting to VJing to RJing, and you have been the host of the WWE Sunday Dhamal.
Yeah.
Right?
That
So,
also
in a
happened.
spit-
Yeah.
So in a city that literally never sleeps, how did you come to this conclusion that कि आपका जो interest है, it lay beyond the spectrum of just acting or just RJing, because you have put your hands and feet everywhere in the industry, and that is very much appreciable.
So in 2004 and 5, when I started doing television, I remember I used to be 24 hours on a set because I was doing Kasauti, I was doing Kavyanjali,
Wow.
I was doing 5 serials. Plus, I was VJing for B4E. So I used to not go home. There was no time for me to go.
All at once.
Yeah. I was known as a 24-hour guy. So if you,
Oh
you don't
my
have the great
God.
magazine today. But they used to write some very nice things those days about me because they really thought I was going to be the next big superstar of television, which I didn't because I didn't want to. I didn't end up wanting to do lead roles. It used to irritate me. So I used to never do leads because I used to get bored on a film set, on a television set. So I used to do various other very strong character, mostly negative roles, but I used to do lots of them. So what happened was I was 24, 25 at that time, and I remember I started a lights company at that time when I was 25. Because I said, if I'm always on a set, why don't I buy equipment and start using it? And nobody had ever done that, in television. And I remember I bought quite a few lights. I had a small company called The Mint, MINT, which used to provide equipment. And I was 24, 25 at that time. And I always had a business brain as to how to crack it. So when I was very young, I managed to do that. And it continued. That business sense of mine continued. And it still has continued, which is why I produced, which is why I ended up doing things without just being an artist in front, because I wanted control over everything that I was doing because I was very paranoid about quality. So I used to make sure that I did everything on my own.
So you've been hosting WWE for so long. So कोई favorite wrestler आपका, like a fan moment
यार मेरा
with
बचपन से जो
anyone?
फेवरेट रेसलर है has always been Hulk Hogan, Macho Man, Randy Savage and all यार. तो मेरे ना all the stars जो है सारे पुराने stars है. In the new zone, of course, you can't even call Rock new, but Randy Orton, Rock. I was actually somebody who's lived on WWE बचपन में यार. I watched so much of WWE. British Bulldog देखा ये खुद ही करते थे, इतना करते थे, trump cards. So life always was at that time. बचपन में we used to all watch WWE. So I remember hosting WWE for India when I went to America. My world was crazy, man. 3 years ago, I went to Louisiana and I was hosting WWE. I was hosting WrestleMania there. No Indian had ever gone to host WrestleMania. And I just, like I said, everything for me has always happened and I've just not understood. I said, what is the meaning of this? But I was standing there. Vince McMahon was there. I was sitting in the backstage. I was eating with Triple H. I was eating with Stephanie McMahon. We're sitting on the same table. Everyone's chilling. And I'm going, I can't believe. So WWE, you have to understand, दुनिया में cricket wicket एक तरफ है, football भी एक तरफ है. दुनिया में WWE, the whole world, everybody from Timbuktu to China knows who Undertaker is. And you can't imagine the kind of power that these guys have. Like on a Monday night, 80,000 people watching Monday Night Raw, or SmackDown. I have witnessed that.
yes.
And मैं believe नहीं कर सकता कि मैं वहाँ पे था WrestleMania में. I have been in the ring at WrestleMania. That's the crazy part of my life, man.
Wow.
So, I remember when I did it, I said, all my friends said, यार तेरे को अभी समझ में नहीं आएगा तूने क्या किया है. कुछ साल के बाद तेरे को समझ में आएगा जब तू देखेगा that you were a part of WrestleMania 35. Or, it was crazy. So I said, ठीक है, ये भी experience एक अच्छा हो गया. Of course, it was crazy because काम non-stop था 18-19 घंटे. Because अमेरिका में ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि आप स्टार हो, वैनिटी वैन है, ये सब नहीं होता है. उधर रेसलर्स को भी ऐसे ही काम करवाते हैं सुबह से लेकर रात तक. तो मैंने कहा ये क्या नॉनसेंस है यार. मैंने कहा वी आर एट रेसलमेनिया, बट ऐसे ही है. इट्स लाइक दैट.
नहीं, क्योंकि पता है मेरे घर में भी वी यूज्ड टू सिट संडे को ऐसे पूरा फैमिली, एंड वहाँ से होता है ना कि मेरे भैया को समझ में आ गया व्हाट चोक स्लैम इज, एंड आई हैव फेस्ड चोक स्लैम घर पे. Oh, it is so excruciating, but you grow up like that. So I have grown with the WWE, and I've seen you. hosting it every Sunday.
एक्चुअली अब तो क्या हो गया, नाउ आई नो लॉन्गर डू संडे धमाल, नाउ आई होस्ट फॉर WWE नाउ. अब मैं डायरेक्टली WWE के लिए काम करता हूँ. सो व्हाट एक्चुअली हैपेंड वाज, वो लोग यही बोलते थे, तुम दूसरे सोनी चैनल के लिए क्यों कर रहे हो, तुम हमारे लिए ही करो. मैं कहा ठीक है यार, तुम्हारे लिए कर लेता हूँ यार, मुझे क्या फर्क पड़ता है. सो आई रिमेंबर डूइंग दैट. और मैं इट्स लाइक आई सेड, इट्स अ रियली वेरी डिफरेंट एक्सपीरियंस, क्योंकि इंडिया में सिर्फ 2-3 ही लोग हैं, गेलन, साहिल खट्टर और मैं, और कोई करता ही नहीं है ये. सो सडनली वी आर इन अनदर वर्ल्ड जहाँ दोबारा हम किसी से बात नहीं कर सकते अपने एक्सपीरियंस के बारे में, क्योंकि कोई और करता ही नहीं है ये, यू नो. सो मुझे भगवान ने शायद ऐसा ही बनाया है कि बेटा तुम बहुत काम करोगे लेकिन अकेला ही रहोगे ऑलवेज, क्योंकि आई हैव नोबडी टू स्पीक आउट माय एक्सपीरियंसेस टू. आई रिमेंबर लाइक, मैं क्या बताऊं कि मैं रिक फ्लेयर के साथ मैं मिल चुका हूं, आंड्रे द जायंट, और मैंने फोटोग्राफ्स लिए हैं. मतलब मेरे पास जो फोटोज हैं दुनिया में और किसी के पास नहीं है, लेकिन मैं ही खुश हो जाता हूँ देखते देखते, because I cannot explain those 7 days that I was there in America, you know, during WrestleMania. It was just something else. You just can't believe how crazy the productions are abroad. It's another level यार, अलग level है वो.
तो आप मुंबई में 2002 में आए and it has been close to 2 decades since you've been here. So has the city ever changed? Like, or is it just the way you first stepped in?
No. 2007 के बाद it's the same. But from 2002 to 7 was beautiful. कोई यार एजेंडा नहीं था किसी का, सब रिलैक्स थे, सब अपना काम कर रहे थे. इतना पैसा तब अभी तक बॉम्बे में नहीं आया था, यू नो. सो इट वाज स्टिल गुड, यू नो. सो इट वाज वेरी रिलैक्स. नोबडी, गाड़ी वाड़ी की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती थी गाड़ियां सबके पास, लेकिन सब ऑटो में घूमते थे, सब रिलैक्स कर रहे थे. एंड उस समय प्रॉपर्टी डेवलपर्स शुरू नहीं थे, प्रॉपर्टी बूम चालू नहीं हुआ था बॉम्बे में. सो आई रिमेंबर कि सब बड़ा चिल्ड आउट था, टेलीविजन भी बस अच्छा चल रहा था, सब कुछ अच्छा ही चल रहा था, यू नो. 2008-9 में सब बदल गया. जब रिसेशन पहला आया था तो उसके बाद सब जो पार्टी टाइम चल रहा था हम सबका, वो सब कैंसिल हो गया. एंड उसके बाद बहुत चेंजेस आई. इनफैक्ट 2009 में ही मैंने वापस रेडियो ज्वाइन किया था. सो एक्चुअली बिग बॉम्बे 2007 से पहले और 2007 के बाद चेंज हुआ, क्योंकि 7 के बाद ह्यूज मनी केम इनटू बॉम्बे. तो टेलीविजन शोज, ये रियलिटी शोज, मैंने, ये लोग भूल जाते हैं, भारत का पहला, एंड आई मीन भारत का पहला रियलिटी शो जहाँ पे गाली गलोच ये सब हुआ, वॉज होस्टेड बाय मी. बॉलीवुड का टिकट, कौन जीतेगा बॉलीवुड का टिकट,
कौन जीतेगा बॉलीवुड का टिकट,
नोबडी नोज. इट केम ऑन 9XM, वो चैनल बंद हो गया उसके बाद. सो आई एम टेलिंग यू, ये उस समय नच बलिए कुछ नहीं स्टार्ट हुआ था, कुछ नहीं हुआ था. मैंने वो होस्ट किया था, और उस समय रियलिटी हमें पता ही नहीं था. इन ये मतलब एक ऐसा जमाना हो गया था जब हर चीज, लाइक आई सेड अगेन, उसमें भी पहले ही था, तो मुझे समझ नहीं आया करना क्या यहाँ पे. मैं कहा चलो ठीक है ये करते हैं. सो वी हैव फेस दैट ऑल्सो, एंड दैट वाज अ वेरी डिफरेंट वर्ल्ड. अब जो है ना बहुत ज्यादा, अब क्या, अभी तो 5-6 साल से इट्स टू कंपेरेटिव, पीपल आर ओनली आउट टू बिलिटल अदर पीपल. उस समय क्या था, हर कोई जानता था कि सर आप 10 साल से ये जो काम कर रहे हैं बहुत बढ़िया काम किया है, एंड यू हैव फुल रिस्पेक्ट. आजकल कोई नया बच्चा आता है इंस्टाग्राम पे, बोलते हैं हु आर यू, आप कौन हो, आपके तो सिर्फ 100,000 फॉलोअर हैं, हमें कोई जानता तक नहीं, आपका ब्लू टिक कैसा है, हमारे पास खुद के 500,000 है. मैं बोलता हूँ ये डिजिटल वर्ल्ड ने ना सब रुइन कर दिया है, क्योंकि अब यहाँ पे किसी को कुछ ना करके भी काफ़ी कुछ फेम मिल जाता है. दे डोंट नीड टू डू एनीथिंग. और उसके साथ क्या होता है, देन दे फॉरगेट द काइंड ऑफ एफर्ट दैट इज बीइंग पुट इन बाय ऑल द अदर पीपल. और उन्होंने क्या, ये जो इंडस्ट्री जो ये लोग खा रहे हैं डिजिटल वाले, ये हम सब ने तो क्रिएट की है, ये हमने ही तो बनाई है पिछले 18 साल से यार. बट ये भूल जाते हैं. तो उसकी वजह से अब जो है ना बहुत रिस्पेक्ट जा चुका है, बहुत फाइटिंग चालू हो गई है. नाउ देयर इज लॉट ऑफ गंदगी, as to say. Earlier it was beautiful and pure. सब अपना काम कर रहे थे, सब खुश थे, सब और काम करने की कोशिश कर रहे थे, and that was beautiful.
आपने बताया आप रेडियो 2009 से वापस चालू किए थे, राइट? सो यू वर्क फॉर रेडियो सिटी 91.1.
Yeah.
And
I'm actually now, I also have a post. I'm also associate vice president of Radio City. So I don't, so
wow.
now see what happens is,
Congratulations.
nobody is there. अच्छा ये भी प्रॉब्लम ये है कि लोग नहीं जानते ना ये सारी चीज़ें. तो मैं जब मैं बोलता हूँ ना, तो मैं वो बोलते हैं कि झूठ बोलना बंद कर, इतना सब कैसे हो सकता है. मैंने कहा अब है तो है यार, अब मैं क्या बोलूँ. अब साथ में है, अब मेरी पोस्ट है, और अब ये थोड़ा सा बड़ा पोस्ट हो गया, और थोड़ा चीज़ें हैं, मैंने खुद की पार्किंग मिलती है, खुद का क्यूबिकल टाइप थोड़ा मिल जाता है. बट लोग ये नहीं समझ पाते. तो अब मैं प्रोडक्शन वर्ल्ड, कॉर्पोरेट वर्ल्ड, मीडिया वर्ल्ड, तीनों में बड़ी आसानी से घूमते रहता हूँ, एंड आई एम वेरी हैप्पी.
तो आपका जो शो था वो कैसा का मुंबई, तो भाई साहब वो तो मतलब अलग लेवल पे हिट हुआ था, बिकॉज इट वाज पोजीशन्ड एज नंबर 1 अमॉन्ग्स द रेडियो लिसनर्स.
Yeah, so Ram, we broke a lot of records with that show. My partner that time, Archana, was there. Now I do the show alone, same time slot, but it's called Kadak, but same thing. But yeah, actually, like I said, ना वो एक नया दौर आया था where they got me from the film and TV world. They said एक सेलिब्रिटी को लेके आते हैं जो रेडियो करेंगे. तो उस समय सेलिब्रिटीज नहीं कर रहे थे कोई रेडियो. तो मुझे लेके आए थे. उसके बाद सोनू निगम मुझसे पहले थोड़ी देर कर रहे थे. एंड मनीष पॉल ने मेरे से पहले थोड़ा सा किया था. लेकिन मनीष पॉल वॉज नॉट फेमस दैट टाइम. ही वॉज जस्ट अ रेडियो जॉकी. एंड आई रिमेंबर जब मुझे लेके आए थे उसके बाद दे ट्राई टू गेट सोनू निगम टू डू अ रेगुलर शो. मतलब मेरे किसी और रेडियो स्टेशन ने मेरे अगेंस्ट वो एक और ऐसे सेलिब्रिटी को लेके आए थे, बड़े स्टार को. और उसके 3-4 साल बाद वो अन्नू कपूर साहब को भी लेके आए. सो आई थिंक आई स्टार्टेड दैट ट्रेंड ऑफ बीइंग अ नोन नेम जिसको लेके आया गया. बहुत पूरी होर्डिंग लगाई गई पूरे बॉम्बे में, दुनिया भर में, ओला कैब्स पे, मेरू कैब पर, सब जगह, कि ये एक फेस हैं जो अब फेस और आवाज़ दोनों होंगे रेडियो पर. तो ये वो ऐसे लेके आए थे और उससे बहुत फ़ायदा हुआ हम सबका. एंड आई रिमेंबर फिर वो रेटिंग ऐसी रही थी वी फॉर ऑलमोस्ट 217 वीक्स वी वर नंबर 1, जो एक ऐतिहासिक रिकॉर्ड है. दैट हैज़ नेवर बीन ब्रोकन टिल नाउ. 217 वीक्स, जब एवरी वीक रेटिंग निकलती है. आई डिड नॉट लूज माई नंबर 1 पोजिशन फॉर 217 वीक्स. सो इट वॉज समथिंग दैट वॉज अनहर्ड ऑफ ऑन रेडियो. ऑलमोस्ट 4 साल के लिए रहा था. उसके बाद नए रेडियो स्टेशन आए, न्यू टाइम. सो बेसिकली बिग एफएम ने उस समय हमारे शो को तोड़ने के लिए टाइम बैंड ही चेंज कर दिया. उन्होंने फिर वो रेट्रो म्यूजिक चालू किया था. उन्होंने कहा था वी कांट बीट देम एट दिस गेम. तो उन्होंने टाइम बैंड ही पूरा चेंज करके अन्नू कपूर को तब लेके आए थे. एंड दे देन इवेंचुअली ब्रोक अ पोजीशन आफ्टर दैट बिकॉज वो रेट्रो म्यूजिक उन्होंने सुबह चालू किया. सो रेट्रो म्यूजिक दैट वाज स्टार्टेड इन द मॉर्निंग वाज आल्सो टू कॉम्बैट व्हाट कसकाई मुंबई हैड डन फॉर रेडियो. So yeah, a lot of things happened then. Yeah.
तो मतलब आपके साथ कभी ऐसा कोई मोमेंट हुआ है कि आप कहीं बाहर जा रहे हैं एंड लोगों ने आपको आपकी आवाज़ से पहचाना हो?
आजकल होता है ना, क्योंकि मास्क पहन के सब जगह जाता हूँ, सब मेरे को अपनी आवाज़ से ही पहचानते हैं. सो इट वॉज ऑलवेज द प्रॉब्लम ऑलवेज. बहुत साल लगे थे लोगों को ये समझने, बिकॉज मैंने कभी कुछ छोड़ा नहीं था ना. मतलब रेडियो के दौरान ही मैं आशिकी भी किया, रेडियो के दौरान मैं WWE भी कर रहा था. तो लोग कभी भी मेरे को एज अ सिंगल पर्सनैलिटी नहीं मानते थे. बहुत सारे लोग इनफैक्ट ये भूल चुके थे कि सलिल जो एक्टर है, जो वीजे है, वो वही सलिल है जो रेडियो पर भी है. तो ये भी बहुत मैंने फेस किया था बहुत सारे लिसनर्स के साथ. एंड देन इवेंचुअली मेरे को फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता, लाइक आई सेड, बिकॉज मैं सब जगह इतना, मेरा शेड्यूल आप सुनेंगे तो आप पागल हो जाएंगे. 18 आवर्स टू 19 आवर्स अ डे मेरा नॉर्मल शेड्यूल रहता था. ऑलवेज 7 to 11 मैं रेडियो करता था. 12 बजे रेडियो स्टूडियो से निकलता था, शूटिंग पर जाता था, 4 बजे तक शूटिंग होती थी, फिर प्रोडक्शन हाउस जाता था, फिर वापस आता था, जिम करता था, फिर रात को रिकॉर्डिंग होती थी. ये मेरा डेली शेड्यूल होता था 7 days a week. मैं 5 दिन 6 दिन काम नहीं करता हूँ, मैं 7 days a week काम करता हूँ. तो आई बीन वेकिंग अप एट 5:15 सिंस 2008 एंड आई स्लीप एट 1 o'clock in the night and I sleep only 4 hours. तो इतना कभी मेरे लिए कोई इशू रहा ही नहीं. सो लाइक आई सेड ना, मैं उन लोगों में से हूँ जो कर्म के बारे में सोचता हूँ और मेरा फल अपने आप ही आता है. मेरे को पब्लिसिटी और लोगों से मिलना, इवन फॉर दिस पॉडकास्ट आपके साथ, इफ़ यू नो, मैं इमीडिएटली यस नहीं करता हूँ. मेरे को नहीं पसंद है, इतना मेरे को समझ नहीं आता मैं क्या बोलूँ, बिकॉज मैं एक ही तरीके से बात कर सकता हूँ. आई स्पीक वेरी ऑनेस्टली एंड पीपल कांट अंडरस्टैंड हाउ इट कैन ऑल हैपन. एंड जब लोग मेरी आवाज़ सुनते बोलते हैं, ओ माई गॉड, दिस इज दैट गाय एंड दिस इज दिस गाय, अरे इसके साथ बुरा हुआ, इसके साथ अच्छा हुआ. मुझे नहीं बतानी किसी को मेरी कहानी, क्योंकि मेरी कहानी बहुत सही चल रही है, मैं बहुत खुश हूँ. लेकिन प्रॉब्लम ये हो जाती है कि लोग मिसअंडरस्टैंड कर जाते हैं. एंड शायद बहुत सारे लोगों ने मुझे मिसअंडरस्टैंड भी किया, क्योंकि प्रॉब्लम ये हो जाती है कि काम अगर आपके पास ऑलवेज ज़्यादा रहे तो थोड़े आपके पास टाइम बहुत कम होता है लोगों से इंटरेक्ट करने का. तो मेरे पास, मैं पार्टीज़ में नहीं जाता हूँ. आई क्विट स्मोकिंग 6 years ago. आई हैवंट ड्रंक फॉर 20 years. मेरे पास कोई टाइम नहीं होता किसी से मिलने के लिए. आई हैव नो टाइम टू मीट एनीबॉडी. आई जस्ट गो टू माई फैमिली एंड आई गो टू माई जिम एंड आई एम बैक एट वर्क. बस और कुछ नहीं करता हूँ मैं. मुझे कोई इंटरेस्ट भी नहीं है. मैं शॉपिंग में इंटरेस्ट नहीं रखता हूँ. मुझे गाड़ियाँ और घर खरीदने का इंटरेस्ट है. बस ये 2 चीज़ें हैं मेरे पास. कुछ आई डोंट केयर अबाउट एनीथिंग. तो मेरे आज भी दोस्त, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि मैं किसी के साथ कहीं जाना चाहता हूँ. मैं डिनर्स अकेले कर लेता हूँ, मैं पिक्चर अकेले देख लेता हूँ, मुझे कोई फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता है, क्योंकि मेरे पास ऑलवेज एजेंडा होता है. 3 घंटा होते हैं मेरे पास. मैं डिनर कर लिया, पिक्चर देख लिया, एंड आई गो बैक टू वर्क. सो आई हैव लिव्ड लाइक दिस फॉर 20 years. So as a result, people misunderstand a lot of things.
So we had one last question, Salil. So I wanted to know that what inspired Off Script with Salil.
Because I guess people were too
Too interesting just doing the question answer format. I think there's a huge difference in conversationists and interviewers and journalists. And a lot of journalists, once the digital age started, now they बहुत शुरू कर दिया. They started doing this, interviewing basis. And I find it really, there's no feel in the shows. And I still do it for B4U, but because B4U's reach was very limited in India, not too many people saw these conversations. And that's the reason why when I went, I met Spotify and they wanted me to do a show like this. I said, nobody understands the art of conversing. I've been doing it for 18, 20 years. The art of conversation is not just only about listening or only about asking a question or only about, interrupting someone. It's about keeping it natural. So you listen at times, but you also, like a lot of people just know they'll ask a question, then they'll get an answer, then they'll ask another question. That's not how people talk. When you talk with friends, how do you talk? You have varying emotions and various bits and pieces that you guys talk to each other with. And of course, when I was doing this kind of show, because I spent so much time here, a lot of my friends were interesting. It was not just about getting the big stars. Some of them have gone through their different paths in their life. So Arman spoke about depression, Neha Bhasin. I mean, we spoke about music also, but about depression was the main thing. Neha Bhasin spoke about how she wanted to commit suicide because Viva was such a horrendous experience for her off the stage. Nobody else has heard these kind of things. Taraj Gola, a very important, very big chef, spoke about how if his little pop-up kitchen hadn't worked, he would have been, his father makes tubes for hand pumps. He would have been doing that. I've had such interesting people on my show. Tapsi Pannu, Sara Bhaskar, Richa Chadha, so many interesting people who I've known for really a long time. So that's the reason why I said, let's just make a show where I show the real side or a side that you guys don't know about. Jennifer Winger, a very popular television star. She was my co-star in television. She spoke about her divorce for the first time. Nobody's ever heard that. So a lot of people have opened up to me. I feel like I've become like a shrink. Because out of the 18, 19 episodes I've done, I think 6 or 7 of them have been about depression.
Yeah.
A lot of the things. Again, like I say, none of my artists are 16, 17. We've all been through many years of our life. And we've all achieved a certain level of fame and success. And we've had downs and ups and all that. And so we have enough stuff to talk about. And so I just let them talk. And that's the beauty of it.
So, what has your personal favorite conversation been about with these people?
Oh, no, I don't have a single. I've been shocked every time, man. The most fabulous person. I remember giving her a WhatsApp message. You see, you have to understand, I was starting the podcast and I have the longest running podcast on Spotify in the original studios. Nobody's been given a starting 24 episode contract and I was given 24 straight up. So you have to understand about a year back, So that time Spotify didn't exist here as far as for people who are concerned. They said, hai ek app. So again, I was the first person, So मैं किससे क्या बात करता? And I needed a star, and a lot of big stars were going to join me. It was going to happen. Karthik was there. He'll probably join me in the next season. But I needed somebody to start things off with. And I remember just messaging Tapsi. 2 days later, she just walked into my studio. That's it. And it happened. If Tapsi hadn't come, I would not have had a really good start to it. And then Prajakta came, and Prajakta's super YouTube sensation.
Yes.
I've had some big stars who also said, no, we want money. And I was shocked. I said, really? You want money? They said, तू कमा रहा है ना? मैंने कहा, तो? The reason I'm... जब मैं तेरे शो पर फीचर होऊंगा, मैं थोड़ा पैसे मांग रहा हूँ. So it was a little weird also, but this has been a lovely learning curve for me. Again, because I produce the show also myself, I arrange the artists myself, I edit everything myself, I make everything myself again. So I was very excited about getting people on and finding a different story to everyone. Amish Tripathi, you'll be shocked. Amish talks to me about his book and talks about his divorce. Again, I became a shrink for him also. So I realized that people do want to talk to familiar faces and familiar voices that they've known for so many years. Nobody has that kind of a show anywhere. Everyone's only trying to promote a film or promote their agenda or something. But let's talk. And it's off script. You know how people say it's off the record, when they do a journalistic interview? Yes. So this is literally off the record.
It's very natural, actually, when you hear it.
That's the way it should be. I don't edit much at all, I just don't edit much. And that was why Unni was the programming director at Spotify. He's just been fabulous. He said, you do whatever you feel like. It's just they don't want to interfere at all. So I only choose the artist. I do everything. So the freedom that I've been given has allowed me to be able to make this podcast. And I mean, we've got some decent numbers. We keep trending all the time. So I like it. So I'm happy. That's all I can do.
Okay. Thank you, Salil.
Thank you very much, Kavilasa. Thank you very much.
This has been great talking to you. It's beautiful. Thank you for joining us today. We couldn't be more thankful, and we are honored to have you on this set.
You said too many big words, but thank you very much. I enjoyed myself. Thank you very much. Take care.
Thank you. Have a great day, Salil. Bye.